Hello fellow oil painters, or should I say future oil painters? If you're a complete starter, this video is going to be great for you. And I know that the art stores and the craft stores, they can be intimidating because the shelves are stacked and you don't know where to look, you don't know what to get. So let me clear some things up for you. So let's get out of the way what you really need. Surface, easel, potentially, brushes, or I should say a brush, a palette. So you can either get mediums, paint thinners, or both, and I'll explain why. And you need containers to put the mediums and or solvents in. So let's go through each one. Surface to paint on. There are a bajillion options, the main ones being the canvas, or a canvas board. It's very thin. And here you have the canvas. Hollow. There is another option though. There is canvas paper. It just comes in a full stack, like watercolor paper. That might be the better option because you just want to get to painting. You just want to get some things out, experiment with the paint. So another option, if you already have a notepad, this is a 3. If you have these, you can also paint on them. So this was a little test that I did. The paper is bare paper. Granted, the texture is going to be very different and the oil is going to get absorbed. Something else you can do, put some gesso, so you can instead buy gesso. 2 or 3 coats of it, very thin coats, and it should be better than the bare paper. It is perfect for those quick studies. That's gesso. That's bare paper. You can have failed attempts, turn the page, and you can do more studies. Point is, you can invest on the canvas paper. It will be better for texture, it will be better for the oil because it won't get absorbed by the paper. You won't have to invest in gesso, so that will be better. Next up, so with paints, we want to start minimal. Burnt umber, white. Create yourself a grayscale, start painting whatever you want. Don't focus on foundations, don't focus on really learning all of that stuff yet. Just start painting, have fun. That's the important thing. You can always get these. You can get the pack. The less, the better. The more minimal, the better. Because you can experiment with what you got. If you can afford this, and if you already have painted in acrylics or watercolor or whatever, and you have an idea of color, then it might be in your interest to see how these colors act different. Brushes. Get one of these sets. The recommended one is this one right here, the flat one. The flat one is your friend. You can make straight lines with it, you can make big strokes with it, make them appear rounder by turning your brush a bit, experiment with it. So that's a recommendation. You can get the pack or you can simply go buy the singular flat brush. There are those big starter packs that include the table easel, or you can buy the bigger like floor easel, and those here tend to be about 30-50 euro. You can just work on your desk. It depends on how you want to paint. If you are going to paint on your table, be careful with your posture because that's really gonna weigh down on your shoulders. It kind of does the same when you're like this on the canvas. It really strains these muscles, the trapezoid. Palette. You can just get the simple disposable palette, turn the page, throw it out when you're done. Or you can get a small wooden one. It's going to be perhaps a bit more expensive. I like wood palettes. I did try the disposable ones. Didn't love them, but I do recommend them for starting out. This might just come down to preference and or budgeting. In terms of medium, you don't really need medium. So you don't need to buy the little bottle of linseed oil. You can just use the tube as is. You can get turpentine or a paint thinner. Get the odorless one if you're going to be working indoors and you don't have proper ventilation. It can be harmful to you in the sense of respiratory and depending on your sensitivity as well, skin-wise. So you need that ventilation when you're using such strong odor paint thinners. So get the odorless ones. Just ask for cheap odorless paint thinner, please, and you'll be good. If you don't want the paint thinner, you can use just buy the linseed oil, and the oil will get rid of the oil in the brush. So you can just get a paper towel, dip it in the oil, brush it off of the paper towel, squeeze it out a bit, and it's good. Maybe you might need to repeat the process a few times, but you'll be good. Last, the glass jars. This is where I put my paint thinner. These are my paint thinners. So this is soft odor, and this is not. Again, well ventilated area or go fully odorless. And as you can see, it's going to stay at the bottom, and you can just repurpose the turpentine on top, or the paint thinner that it sits there. You just dip it out. If you lose the cap, don't worry, you can just use the plastic film and seal it up. That's pretty much all you need to get started. Get what you can afford. Don't overthink it. As long as you can paint, you'll just grow and get better and become a great painter. So get to it. Happy painting.